Hey everyone, welcome back to a brand new video from yamparalamedia. I'm your host Rahul, and in this video we'll be reviewing another awesome portfolio. So without any ado, let's get started. So recently I found this portfolio which is of Ethan, and he's a great designer by his visual and how he represents his problem and solution. That part of the portfolio I really liked a lot. Let's break down the homepage and then we'll discuss the other projects that he had done. So first and first, to receive this one, to open this one, you need to go on to this URL, which is ethanchnug.com, ethanchng.com, and you will land on this page. So this structure itself is made such that it's a application, because we have on the left side we have the navigation, his icon, then about, then what ideas he have, then his CV, then we have some of his works that he had did at Apple, GoodNotes and other companies, and at the bottom he has given his contact details. And also not only just having the navigation, but he also applied some of the animations that which triggers upon when the user hovers on it. So for example, if I hover on any of the web interface work that he had did, so you can see a drop down type of cards coming up here, so that inside Marketa, if I pronounce it right, he has worked upon SOS forms and bulk add or use the users, so as of action items, so that I can see directly from here, and if I click on it I can direct it to that page. Next thing that I noticed is, as a designer, if I take myself as a recruiter or anyone who is landing on this website, is that this much of content is good if you want to tell a lot about you, if you have done a lot of works, and it may be hard for a designer to write it in 2 lines. If you're going with this manner, if you are a designer, if you are taking inspiration from this one, I would suggest that if you're writing this much of content, do one thing. You can change this Apple as a text and add it here a logo, Apple logo, and same goes with other companies like GoodNotes, Berkeley Time. So you can have icons instead of having the text. So let's get into the next section, which is this fold. So if you observe, the designer Ethan has mentioned a little bit of subtle headline, which is like craft. So one thing that you need to understand when you're designing your portfolio is each and everything is important, and whatever you're going to mention on your portfolio, it will be reflecting your personality. So here Ethan doesn't take his work as just a work, but he defines it as a craft. So that's a subtle change or subtle mention of his work on this portfolio. So if you scroll down, you can see different. So this is basically a type of grid layout. So all of these gives a attractiveness when a user comes on your portfolio. So it's not mandatory to have animations on your website, but if they are defining some micro interactions and you want to tell them, then it should have. For example, for this card, you can see that here you can't have a unique interaction. Maybe selecting a card and shifting it to from fall to spring, that could be one animation, but that is not unique, or that is not something that is very new. So that may be the reason that the Ethan doesn't added the animation here. I would like to see static, because it may be smooth on some of the devices, it may be not smooth on some of the devices. So keep that in mind. If you're using animations, you should make them less burdened on your website. So one work that I really liked when I was seeing this portfolio, and I will be using it in my design process, and I will keep it as a learning, is this one. So you can see that when I hover on it, it gives a drop shadow. That means a visual representation that the user is on to this, and it is clickable. So I will click on it. So as I click on it, it directly shows me the product itself. It directly shows me what I should be expecting as I have opened this one. One suggestion that I would have is, as I clicked on this, I would not like to have this side navigation always on active. If there is a way to minimize this, if there is a way to close this, that would be great. one way, the best way that I see in now product designs to close this navigation is from ChatGPT. So if you open, you can see this one. So this subtle line which you can see here, it's a close sidebar button. So if you close it, if you click on it, it closes the site navigation, and if you click on it, it opens it. So the same thing can be applied here. That's the first point. Second point is, if you see this particular screen, the background screen is animated, it's a GIF file, but not this mobile. But it is also looking odd when you are having the mobile screen overlapped over this desktop view, and I'm not able to see what is written in on this side. So, but that is not that much important. Let's get into more details. So if I scroll down, I can see the title itself. Then I can see a single liner that what is the value of making this design. So it is basically helping the developers onboard to the application, decreasing the time to value. So here he has done somewhat a research type of work. So you can see the timeline, the team, the tools that has been used. So more often when you're working for some company, you will be having a lot of to and fro, and you will be having a team that helps you in this thing. So you need to add them also on your portfolio, so that the recruiter knows that you're not a single person handling all the design stuff, but you're also collaborating with the team and getting the ideas that whether this particular thing is applicable or not. So he has given some of the details which are important to have, and if I go down, I can see the direct design what he has made. And if I go down, I can see the summary. So subtle headline, what it is. He's described the anatomy of it. He also gave a button. So if your project is live, most often the designers doesn't have any project that is live and which is being used by the design, which is used by the users. But if you have, you should definitely add a button so that the recruiter or anyone seeing the portfolio can access it. And you can simply say that it's not only you can see on your laptop, but you can also experience it in your hand. So if I go down, I can see all the stuff that he mentioned. More often, as we say that in resume or anything, when you're representing, most of the time try to add numbers, because numbers are what attracts humans, and I can guess like what was the impact. So if I go down, I can see the previous version which was there. So I can see that the password thing is having a lot of red signals in sense all of those, but that defines, that is an error state basically, and improving that error state is what his task is. So if you need to remember that your portfolio is something that doesn't need to tell the user what is your project. It should be clear with your visual skills. It should be clear with how you present it. I'm seeing only the visual parts, because from seeing the visuals I can understand that what it is. So if I go down, this part is one thing that every designer should be remembering. So instead of just writing out your problem statements, you can show it in a grid format. Here the password itself, the poor password requirement experience. So when the user is creating the password, giving it randomly, it should have at least one lowercase, one capital, one special character, and all those instructions is not a good experience for a developer. And more often you can see information cut off, aggressive micro interaction experience. So these are some of the problems that he has experienced. He is going to work upon. He showed what is the goal is. So the goal is to design the first best in class form of experience. So what it will be consisting, what will be the steps. So form redesign is the first thing. Second is improving the accessibility. You need to understand, if you are working on any project, anything, definitely involve the accessibility metrics. That can be WCAG standards or whatever the standards that you are considering when you're designing, and then a guided setup. So these are the three things that he is targeting himself to work upon. And then he has did some of the research where he found these things. And if I go down, so this is what everyone should learn. So you can see that instead of directly showing the error states, like it should have this, it should have this, he's directly mentioning it as a task. Like first you need to have a lowercase, then you need to have a capital letter, in that manner. And you can see that if everything is in red, it feels like an error, but it is basically an error. But that error should be triggered when the user has entered all the things, and if we missed any one of them, it should not directly come when you are entering the password. So that's the problem, and the way of the solution is to gray out them and just defining that it's a step. give the user time to work upon. And then you can see that what are the some of the initial states, how he has come up with the icons, and what were the things, like instead of having them as a vertical stack, having them as a group one and then arranging it into a horizontal. And you can see that how the value iterations work. This was the first iteration, then this one, then this. As a user, as a recruiter, I would be just scanning the portfolio to the midway, and then I will directly go down directly. I will see what was the end result, what was the things that he has given end of the portfolio. So this is how a recruiter is gonna review your portfolio, the gonna review your work. So try to make it minimize. Like having lot of details is good for some of the recruiters, and some of the recruiters would not like to have the lot of information. So it's very debatable, but that's one point you need to understand. If you're going with in depth, go with it, there's no problem with. And that's it. So this is Ethan's portfolio, and there are a lot of things. If I click on mail, it directly opens the mailbox. You can see his work on Twitter also, and some of other works that he has did you can see on Good Notes. So here he has mentioned the interaction over the mobile, because that's what is important. Everyone uses their note lectures on iPad. They're going to use it more often and often, but only the few of the peoples will be requiring mobile to check out what were their notes. And I think that was a perspective of Ethan. That's the reason he has mentioned, like he has put it on the animation for the mobile and skipped the animation for the tab. So the same structure is going to apply here also. So what was the core experience, what was the task, how he has managed to do it, what was the research, and everything. So most of the work that Ethan has done, like what he has mentioned, is in very depth, and that's what I liked it. If I'm looking for a designer who has worked more over on more of the research driven design, I would definitely like to hire Ethan. And that's what the message is being given by Ethan to me as a user. And one more thing that you need to understand is, whatever your portfolio will be structured as, it will be felt different for different people, but the end goal is to show the work you have did, to show what you have achieved over a span of time in your design career. And that's what this video is all about. So I hope that you have learned something from this. And if you want to check out Ethan's portfolio, I will link it down in the description. And have a great day. Keep designing, and I will see you in the next one. Till then, bye bye.